Okay, Tuesday. Now, on this Tuesday, I actually woke up at 6:10. Now, usually I wake up at 6:45, but I've trialed this little thing of getting up early to have my breakfast instead of backloading my calories. So I briefly mentioned it before, but I get up to urinate in the middle of the night, often after I have gym sessions, and I think it may have something to do with the calories and fluid that I have after gym, which is usually around 8:40 onwards by the time I get home, have a shower and start eating. So I've just trialed this just for this week. Spoiler alert, it kind of didn't really help too much, and I kind of really missed the extra half hour or so of sleep that I got. And like as I mentioned before, like I'm still just trialing this. It's just a theory. I've really got to figure out what's going on. But on this week in particular, this is what I trialed. But ever since this week, I actually went back to my usual routine of waking up at 6:45 on a Tuesday and Wednesday, and then just having a bigger breakfast after gym. So yeah, around 6:10 to 7:20, I'll have breakfast, I'll shower, I'll get my food bag ready, which is like my lunchbox thing. Breakfast, 6 eggs, which is like my dinner you saw on the previous day. 80-ish grams of spinach. It's usually around there. If it's like 75 or it's like 82, I'm not really going to give a shit because spinach is like no calories in it anyway. It's just for health reasons. And then on this day, I had my little shot of wheat germ oil. So I sort of mentioned it in another video, but because wheat germ oil is a fat soluble vitamin, you don't have to have it as frequently because it's like stored in your adipose tissue or something like that. Whereas water soluble vitamins get excreted in your urine, and obviously you urinate quite frequently, so you need to have water soluble vitamins a lot more frequently than you do fat soluble vitamins. And wheat germ oil is really high in vitamin E, which is something that a lot of people struggle to get in their diet, or at least they struggle to get enough. Whereas if you have like basically 1 tablespoon of this stuff all at once, it's basically all your vitamin E requirements for the day. But I only have it twice a week roughly, just because, like, again, it's the whole fat soluble thing, and there's like 14 grams of fat per tablespoon roughly. So that's a little bit of extra calories, and especially because I'm trying to have like a more lean bulk approach, I've got to be careful with this sort of stuff. And like, I mean, I feel healthy enough anyway, so I don't feel like I need the extra vitamin E. But this is probably something I'll have to do a little bit more research on, but it's not like I'm feeling sick or anything, so I don't think this is a major problem. But yeah, anyway, that's just on this particular day, I had that little shot of wheat germ oil. And then after I finish all this that you're seeing on screen, I'll have miscellaneous cereal. So I'll try to have my 100 grams of rice bubbles for the whole calories for fueling the gym session later in the day, but sometimes I just don't have time for that, so I'll just have a little bit of like fibrous cereal instead. And now on this day in particular, I was just checking my YouTube channel during breakfast, and then I use that time to watch some more investment finance related stuff as well, which I didn't actually take any pictures of it because I was under a bit of a time crunch. As you can see in this image, 7:29. I try to leave home at 7:20 because the traffic's a little bit worse. So I wasn't actually late to work, thankfully. But yeah, I left home a little bit later than I'd liked. So yeah, as you can see, I was a little late leaving for home because I got sidetracked taking pics for this video, and yeah, which is what you just saw. And now there's a picture of chewing gum there too. So I chew 2 pieces of gum for about 30 to 35 minutes on the drive to work for my whole mewing thing, which I might elaborate on later. But basically mewing is like, it's basically so you have like a better looking face by defining some jaw muscles, because there are muscles in your jaw. Obviously you don't really think of it because you can't train that at the gym, but it is a thing. So obviously no one really knows what I look like. Like, I look decent, but I figure if all I have to do is just chew something when I'm already driving and not doing anything else, and gum's quite cheap. I may as well give it a try. And I've really seen it work anyway, so why not? So again, that's just another part of my little grind thing. On the drive to work, I will chew some gum for mewing stuff, so progressing on mewing each day. So Tuesday when I get to work from 8:30 to about 9:50, I count Monday's tills and I set up the new Excel docs for the week, because each Excel document lasts for like 1 day, 1 week, if that makes sense. So it's like you got a whole week's worth of tills in this like Excel format, so you got to sort of redo it again. It's a simple copy and paste thing, but it's something I've got to do nonetheless. So it's similar to my morning routine for yesterday's workday, but it's not as tedious because there's only 1 day's worth of tills to count as opposed to 3. So from 9:50 to about 10 past 10, I'll have my little tea break. And in this tea break in particular, I checked my eToro account, which holds all my individual stock picks, because in Australia, they make it really hard to invest for some reason. There's only pretty much eToro, Stake, and then there's things like Vanguard where you can't actually invest in individual stocks. It's more so for like ETFs. And then at least crypto is readily available in Australia, but like Australia, we don't have access to like Webull, Public, or Robinhood, not sponsored. So, if for some reason they're listening and you want to sponsor me, feel free. But yeah, it's quite hard to actually invest in individual stocks, especially because eToro doesn't actually have everything. Like, I'm pretty sure Robinhood has almost everything, but I mean, I could be wrong. But either way, checking my individual stock portfolio, there was quite a bit of volatility on this day in particular. Looking back, I can't remember. It may have been some more fears about the Federal Reserve raising interest rates and the whole escalation of tensions between Russia and Ukraine, from memory. Actually, I think the reason is actually mentioned later in a slide. We'll get to that when we get to that, but yeah, there's a bit of volatility on this day in particular. And that graph you're seeing, so I also learnt watching my investment things while I was doing the tills for this morning in particular, that there's a correlation between the Fed interest rate and the overall stock market, and that it seems that over time, as interest rates rise, the market still continues to rise. Now, I found this graph while listening to Investing Stuff While Counting Cash. Oh, well, yeah, I just said that. So that's really interesting, because a lot of the stuff I was hearing when the Fed was starting to raise their interest rates was, oh, this is just going to crash all the stocks and whatnot. And their rationale behind it was, well, if interest rates are higher, debt is more expensive, because obviously you have to pay back more to the bank for the debt you've borrowed for your loans and stuff. So the big tech companies can't grow as quick because they can't use their money to grow their company. They have to use more money to pay the bank back because the interest rates are higher, which means they have to pay the bank more because the interest rates are higher. So, I hope you know what I mean by that. But yeah, the initial idea was stocks are just going to come to a grinding halt. But yeah, this graph shows the contrary, and it gives further credence to the notion of just hold your stocks. Like, don't sell when you think things are going to go down. Don't try and time the market, just hold. Like, I think I actually show my individual stock portfolio later in some of these slides, and as you can see, a lot of them are actually in the red. So if I was to sell out now, I'd actually lose money, but I'm just going to hold through, and in 5 years they're probably going to be up. So just hold. So from 10 past 10 to about 10 past 12, I just did some general morning tasks, random miscellaneous stuff. Now, I think today I had stuff to do involving the Telstra bill still. I can't remember off my head. The pick is a bunch of mail I had to sift through. So yeah, a lot of the mail will come through me, just in case it's sensitive, like accounting documents. Usually it's not, but they'll just come through to me anyway, and I'll funnel them to whoever it's relevant to. And they go to me because I'm always there, whereas some of our other staff aren't really there. Like, I don't know, they just go to me for some reason, but that's fine. Now, 12 past 10 to 12:40, lunch again, getting some vitamin D since I won't get much sun today because right after this work day, I'll be going to the gym, which is obviously indoors. And as you can see, 25 degrees, pretty nice day. So 12:30 to 4:30, yeah, I got work again, random stuff. So the first image is more of that Telstra bill stuff I was talking about for Monday, and the second image is just some bank reconciliations. As you can see, at 4 o'clock, it was 28 degrees. It was perfect weather to go to the beach right after work because my work's only like 10 minutes from like a main beach, so it's not too far away. Oh, sorry, beach weather. Sorry, I meant gym weather. So from 4:30 to 5:40, I'll be driving to the gym. Now, for this gym workout, it was an upper session. So what you're seeing on screen now is the exercises that I do for my usual upper session. But because I'm early in this mesocycle, so for those of you who don't gym, mesocycle is sort of like a training block of like 8 to 12 weeks, and you slowly increase the amount of stuff you do up until the 12-week mark, and then you sort of drop back and sort of start again. And the idea is to sort of increase volume without doing too much too soon. So there's a concept called minimum effective volume. That's basically the minimum amount of work you need to grow. And there's another concept called maximum recoverable volume, which is the amount of work at the gym you can actually recover from. So maybe my body can only handle, I don't know, 27 sets of blah, blah, blah. But then if I do 28, I start to regress. It's like a diminishing returns type of thing. But instead of like diminishing returns, you start to regress. It's a little bit more complicated than that, but the idea is I'm slowly doing more over time. So this isn't what I actually did in this particular workout, but this is what my workout is sort of supposed to look like towards the end of, well, the mesocycle. So we start off with some bench press. So I'll just like run the little gym clips here. Sorry that the screen is like super small. So I recorded it in landscape mode on my phone, and then I edited it on TikTok because, as you guys know, I'm hiding my face from all this stuff. And for some reason, TikTok's just decided to shrink it again, and then having it in landscape mode again has shrunk it even more, which is weird because some of the clips didn't actually like do this, but you know, whatever. So yeah, I'm basically just bench pressing here. So my first 3 sets will sort of just, they'll almost like trampoline off my chest. Now, some people say it's dangerous. Like, yeah, I can see where they're coming from, but it's like not really. It's not like I've got like 200 kilos on the bar and I'm letting it crush my rib cage, and like it's not like I'm dropping it on my chest. You like I can see how they think it's quote dangerous, but it just helps me lift more and it just feels more comfortable for me. I get a good pump from it. I've gotten stronger from it over the years. Like, I've done it for years and it's worked, and a lot of people I know do the same thing. So, you know, it is what it is. But then I also do flat pause bench so that I sort of do it more properly, even though I pause for like 1 second. So it's like a little bit of a trickier movement. Like, eventually I'll do like a little workout sort of walkthrough, like go into really in depth as to why I do everything rather than just freestyling it like I am now. But just know there is a reason behind everything I do. So as you can see, I'm pausing it quite a bit with this, just doing a little wrist flick just to get into the groove of things. So I'll do 5 sets of bench all up, 3 of the touch and go and 2 of the pause, just because I want to work on the pause as well. And like, if I do any more, I really get wiped out, especially because I've got 5 sets of like pull-ups as well. So what you're seeing now is just me sort of warming up with pull-ups. As you can see, they're going up pretty easy. You know, it doesn't take too much effort for me to do pull-ups with my body weight. But then what you're seeing now is me with like 35 kilos attached or something. I don't know. But as you can see, it's a bit more of a struggle. I'm really sort of jolting my head up. I really shouldn't be doing that, but it just feels right when you're doing the movement, because it's the whole get your head over the bar thing. But that's the idea, is to have your actual back doing the work, not because you stretched your neck. So that's something I actually fixed in my Saturday workout, which you'll see. And as you can see in this one, I've lowered the weight a bit because I do like a reverse pyramid style of training, and it's a lot easier. I'm coming up a little bit further. So I don't go as far when the weight is heavier, because the top part of like a pull-up is mainly your biceps anyway. So I weigh about 82-ish kilos, and there's about 35 kilos attached. So it's like 170 kilos all up. Like, your biceps aren't going to be able to like handle all that. So that's why I don't go all the way up like you did see in the warm-ups, because I simply can't, because most of that upper movement of a pull-up is through your biceps and not your lats. As you can see, my lats are pretty decently developed, and this is what I've done for like years to build my lats. Like, I've just slowly just gotten stronger in the pull-ups. Like, even if they're not all the way up, they're at a decent enough range of motion to actually target the lats. So, you know, that's just what's worked for me personally. Like, maybe you guys are better off just doing more reps of bodyweight pull-ups, but for me personally, just getting stronger at weighted pull-ups in general, even if you don't go up or down as far, it still worked for me. And that's why I do reverse pyramid anyway, so I do get like the full pull-up with a lighter weight. Like, I still get the full range of motion, just not with like the top set or the second set, for example. Like, doing a top set of like 40 or 35 or 30 kilo weighted pull-ups makes the bottom set of like 10 to 15 kilos a lot easier, and that's done with a full range of motion. So look, that's just what's worked for me. You know, you guys do you. So now I've switched to pull-ups. Now I've switched to chin-ups. So basically the grip is supinated now and not pronated. So again, some warm-up sets were quite easy, and then the full weighted sets are a bit harder. Again, I'm doing that stupid head bop thing. Looking back, I almost wasn't actually going to put this in the video, but I was like, nah, I think you guys might want to see this. Like, even some of us intermediate gym rats do some stupid shit sometimes. So, and obviously I never actually recorded myself working out until I was doing this sort of thing anyway. So it's good to see. I had no idea I was doing this crap. So now I know to stop. But yeah, flailing about doesn't really help too much, but it just feels right at the moment. Like, you're struggling, you just want to get it up. But, you know, I'll stop doing that from now on. So after I did the 3 sets of touch and go bench press, 2 sets of pause bench, 3 sets of pull-ups, and 2 sets of chin-ups, I did 2 sets of incline dumbbell press supersetted with Meadows rows. Now, the supersetted, like, I did do the Meadows rows right after the incline dumbbell press, but there's probably honestly like a minute or a minute and a half break, just because I was so like exhausted already. Like, as you can imagine, working all day, I was up quite early on this day in particular too, and I've just done like 10 sets of like pretty full-on compound movements. You're not exactly going to be, you know, primed with energy now, are you? But yeah, the point is, I did 2 sets of incline dumbbell press supersetted with Meadows rows, invented by John Meadows, rest in peace. But I only filmed the Meadows rows sets because the gym started to get a little bit packed at this point, and I don't really want to like I can't feel myself doing incline dumbbell press without at least like 4 other people being in the video, and I didn't really want anyone else in the video, obviously, because that's more faces to blur, and then that's just more people, you know, seeing me do this sort of thing, which I'm trying to keep a secret anyway. And like a lot of people at this gym in particular are new, so you know they barely want to actually be in here as it is because they're just intimidated. So they'd be even more intimidated if they saw themselves being filmed by another gym rat, you know what I mean? I don't want to make them feel more uncomfortable than they already are. So I've just filmed the Meadows row sets, which is just some of the reps you're seeing here. I didn't film all of them, but you know, I filmed some. And I also finished off with some ab movements. So there's probably a proper official name for this, but I just call them gymnast Vs. So it's like a V raise hanging off a bar, but I'm doing like how the people in gymnastics do it, where they just are able to hold themselves. So the idea is just to hold myself with my arms as extended as possible for as long as I can. Obviously, I'm not getting many seconds, but it's not bad considering I haven't really seen anyone at my gym, at least, or any other previous gyms I've gone to, do this sort of stuff. Like if they do hanging leg raises, they just do like it's sort of like your knees to stomach as opposed to like your feet to your head type hang raises, let alone this sort of gymnastic related stuff. So yeah, well, you know, we'll get better. So that's pretty much my workout for Tuesdays. That's my upper workout. As you can see on the image I had before, I usually have converging chest press, which is like where you sort of sit towards the side, like you sit on a machine, but you tilt to the side and you sort of press to the side. Like I hope that makes sense, but I'm sure you've seen it at the gym. And then I also do this wide reverse grip lat pull down. So it's like a lat pull down, but your grip is a little bit wider. And instead of having a pronated grip like you would with pull-ups, you have a supinated grip like you would with chin-ups. And I just feel feel my lats work a lot more with that variation. But to each their own. And those are just sort of like machine isolation movements anyway, so they're not the super important stuff. Like worry about like your bench press and your pull-ups and your incline dumbbell press and your barbell rows before you worry about, you know, your machine stuff. So that workout was about an hour and 40 minutes all up, 5:40 to about 7:20. Now on Tuesdays, I'll do one of my shopping trips. I'll do my other one on a Saturday, and I have two because I buy a lot of like fresh fruit, fresh produce stuff and like milk. So food that expires, so I need more frequent doses of it. Like I can't just buy like my milk for like 2 weeks, like, because obviously a lot of it will expire by the time I use it. And we don't have that much room in the fridge at home anyway, so I kind of need to space it out. So Tuesday is a shopping day. Yeah, as you can see, 7:30 to 8:30, leave gym, go to local supermarket, which is the one I work at, which is not too far from the gym I go to, and I do all my groceries and I drive home. So yeah, this grocery trip took me only 12 minutes. Normally it takes me like half an hour because obviously I know a lot of people there because I work there. So I just generally just stand around having a chat. So yeah, this day in particular was a quick grocery trip. So from 8 o'clock to about 10:30, I'll have more calories. So in this case, it was just more rice bubbles because like I've hit all my macronutrient requirements for the day, and I just basically need to just fill calories here. So I'll just pick carbs, and I pick rice. Or I could just have rice, but rice bubbles is like the same thing. Again, I went over it in one of my other diet videos, but basically it's just a good source of just carbohydrates without any of like the resistant starches from too much potato or creates some sort of GI distress, like if you have too much pasta, just stuff like that. Point is, I have rice bubbles because I have my own reasons. And so yeah, I'm checking emails and I'm collating the gym workout videos, which you just saw. Like I was starting to like put the edits on TikTok and all that stuff. And what I normally do during this time period between like getting home from gym and going to bed is I would do study if I was closer to the exam date, which I wasn't at this time, so I was doing side hustle stuff. So this slide, chats with hustler pals. So yeah, I've got like, I have some friends who are about that grind set in my life too. Now, we bought land in the same estate and it's already appreciated heaps in value, which you can see in the message to her here. So that's some good news for the day.